So those of you who follow me on Twitter will know that about 5 or 6 weeks ago, I penned an open letter to three senior politicians in Ireland. Micheál Martin, our Taoiseach, Simon Harris, our Taoiseach, and Minister for Enterprise, Trade and Employment and Tourism, Peter Burke. Basically saying that our industry is decimated, destroyed, and I have some solutions that I think will rescue our industry. Now, I had to keep this incredibly quiet because during COVID, I addressed the Oireachtas to a panel of about 12, 14 senior politicians. And once a certain cohort got wind of me doing that, they tried everything in their power to have it cancelled. I won't go into it, but I guarantee you, you'd be amazed at what they tried to pull to have me cancelled because they did not want me talking on such a big public platform to so many influential people. So I had to keep this one very, very quiet. I got zero response from our Taoiseach, Simon Harris. I mean, not even the standard thanks for your email, because I emailed them all individually as well. From our Taoiseach, Micheál Martin, I got the standard thanks for your email, we'll be in touch. And in fairness, they were in touch about 2 weeks later from one of his assistants that basically said, well, this is what we've done for tourism and blah, blah, blah. And I was going, load of shite. You've done nothing. But incredibly, and I have to admit, I was unbelievably surprised when Minister Peter Burke responded to me and invited me up to state buildings to talk and meet with him and his team. And to be honest with you, I was blown away by it. So anyway, up I went, Wednesday gone, and I had my little presentation and went into the room. Was the first thing I thought when I saw the room was this would make an amazing place for a dinner party. Huge mahogany table with about 40 seats around it, and you could have an amazing dinner party. I was going, this is incredible. Anyway, Minister Burke arrived in with his team, and I got 40 minutes with them, which is a huge honor. And I know there'll be some people here turning around going, traitor, this, blah, 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 when I tell them the whole story. But at some stage, you have to put your money where your mouth is. And I clearly do a lot of giving out because our industry has been absolutely decimated. But I have the solutions. And I can now fall into my coffin happy knowing that I spoke to the individual who can actually implement some of these changes to try and rescue our industry. I was going in fighting for every restaurant, every small business, everybody that's under pressure right now in the country, which is a huge amount of people. Anyway, the first thing that I was trying to drive home was that I know they are going to drop the VAT rate. I think it'll be a big PR thing for the government side. Yes, let's drop the VAT from 13.5% back to 9%. And my whole argument is, in my opinion, this is the wrong thing to do. Who am I? What do I know? I don't know. But in my opinion, and as I said to the minister and his team, it doesn't matter what the VAT rate is if we're all looking at empty restaurants. And at the moment, we're all trading at a complete break-even point, which means we're generating very, very little profit, if any, which means everybody is struggling to pay revenue obligations, because that's where you got to pay your VAT, your employer's RSI, your tax, and everything is out of the profit that you make whilst trading. All the other money you're taking in is basically just keeping your business afloat from day-to-day expenses, from wages, light and heat, and so on and so forth. So my biggest point was, if you are allocating, I don't know, 500 million, 1 billion that the government is going to be down in a VAT take when they cut it in the budget, put that money to better use. Put that money to employers' RSI rebate. Put that money to energy rebates. Put that money straight into the hands of the businesses and pay their bills for them. And that will lift us out of all the crap, because right now at the moment, the big problem is bank balances are just plateauing like that. And even still in peak season, it's just staying like that, which means when it comes to the winter, when trade obviously goes down and the bank balance goes down, well, we're in serious trouble because we never had that spike in our bank balance. And that is the single biggest problem. And if you're allocating 20, 30, 40,000 euro per business is what you're going to say we're going to be down on the VAT intake. I know this is a bit probably complicated. People are looking at me going, what are you on about? But what I'm saying is what the government are planning to do, in my opinion, is wrong. And we are still going to see a huge amount of closures come this winter. Even before the season's out, you're going to start seeing businesses going because it's just impossible to trade in the current climate. I have to admit, And I know, don't worry, I know how politics work. But I was blown away on how nice Minister Peter Burke is. An absolute gentleman. Sat there, took everything on board I said, and I genuinely do believe he actually listened to me. I genuinely do believe. Will anything come from it? I don't know. More than likely not. But as I said, at least I can say I tried. Took everything on board I said. Wasn't an easy ride. I got thrown one or two questions about this and that and blah, blah, blah. But I explained everything from my point of view, which is the amount of business people I'm talking to seems to be everybody's point of view, is that we're all in serious trouble. And a lot of long-standing businesses are just going, what is the point in doing this anymore? I'm making no money out of it. And we can all turn around and lease out our building, sell our building, walk away. Anybody who's renting is under even more pressure because they've got a mortgage to pay, they've got rent to pay. But I genuinely do believe that the minister took on board what I said. And I hope I made some very valid points. I hope I put up a good fight on behalf of so many businesses around the country. And I hope that maybe something will come from it. Maybe they will take on board to say, listen, target the money in a different way. I don't think they're going to. I think the big change they're going to bring in the budget is dropping the VAT back down to 9%. And in my opinion, it's a waste of time because the cash flow is needed to be injected into the businesses right now. I know some people will turn around and say, oh, you're singing the praise of the government. I'm singing the praise of an individual. I have been shouting and screaming on Twitter. I just hope that somewhere we have a knight in shining armour in our government that's going to come out and take care of the people of Ireland. I know Minister Burke is new into his position and I think I can see the fight in him. I can see he's there. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I obviously can't say that was, private and confidential. But I actually genuinely think that the man wants to make change. He understands what immigration, and I brought it up straight away. It's decimated tourism. It's decimated so many towns and villages by removing so much. They said they're working hard on trying to get it. I don't see that myself. I don't know. We said they're working very hard to get the percentage of tourist accommodation down with refugees. They want them out of the hotels. They want them out of the guest houses. I don't know. I don't see that myself firsthand, but that's what they're telling me, that they're trying hard and that they've succeeded already on removing them out of hotels. So I don't know. But what I will say is I went up. My days of playing for Liverpool in Ireland are clearly gone by. So the only way I get to put on a green jersey is to go up and try and fight for my country. I told them nobody can sell Ireland better than I can. I live, breathe and love tourism, hospitality. It's what's in my blood. It's what we've done all our lives and in our family. And that at the end of the day, I would much rather be tweeting furry animals, fluffy clouds and nice dishes of food as opposed to giving out constantly fighting. I made it perfectly clear, in my opinion, the reason why our industry is completely decimated is 100% on the shoulders of the government, from failed policies throughout COVID, from ridiculous policies regarding immigration and flooding all our tourist accommodation. And I know they were kind of saying, look, we need to move on from that. And I know we need to move on from it, but we also need to acknowledge that that's why we're in the trouble that we're in. And people will say, look, it's all part of the plan. This is what they want to do. They want to decimate small businesses. This is all part of they'll throw out the Calgary plan and blah, blah, blah. I am not intelligent enough to know if this is true or not. But all I do know is that so many businesses, so many family-run places are looking at themselves right now going, I don't think I'm going to continue this on any longer because just enough is enough. Not making any money. I work. I take all the pressure, all the stress, all that kind of stuff to pay wages and to pay the government. That's all I'm getting out of my business. I would make more money stacking shelves in a supermarket. So I hope I put up a good fight. I genuinely believe I was listened to. I genuinely believe I put up a really good cause and a really good fight for so many businesses in the country. And fingers crossed, something will come from it. But I will admit, I left there turning around saying to myself, now that's a good guy. That's a really good guy. And his team were fantastic as well. And I know people will say they were only telling you what you wanted to hear. And as soon as you walked out the door, they turned around and went, great, glad that's over. That's him off the books now. But you got to have hope, don't you? You got to hope. You got to hope somebody out there somewhere wants us to succeed and do well. So let's see. Time will tell. But at least I have done what I wanted to do. And I met the man in charge who can make changes that I think will save our industry. Let me know what you think. Have a great day. And as always, likey, commenty, and followy. Have a fantastic day. Thank you very much.